Welcome to the Insurance Producers Podcast, where we bring you the top personalized producers, insurance agents, and industry partners, giving you at least 3 takeaways to 10x your production and build your multi-million-dollar revenue books. So sit back, relax, and become inspired by the success stories and strategies of the world's top insurance minds. Let's roll. Good morning, everyone. Cyrus Jaffery, host of the Insurance Producers Podcast. Hey, today is going to be a special one for me because it's going to be a solo episode, and we get a lot of polls from our listeners that listen to our podcast and ask them what they like. Do they like it when we bring on people? Do they like it when we have solo episodes? And honestly, the solo episodes have been asked quite a bit from a lot of our listeners, which has been pretty fun because I do love the solo episodes that I do maybe once every 2 months, something like that, because I feel like it kind of gives me an opportunity to share what I'm thinking, share what I've gathered maybe from all the people that have been on our podcast. So I wanted to do a solo episode today, kind of go over a couple of different things. The topic for today would be kind of the insurance market, especially personal lines, where it's at. What are some trends we're seeing with carriers? I was just in Canada we were in Canada with Safeco. Canada, same thing with auto owners, same thing with Nationwide. And just kind of talking to the CEO and the executives and all those people that are the decision makers, the product team of like, okay, what are you guys really thinking, man? Like, what's going to happen? Like, what's going on? And so go over the insurance market, what's been happening. And then I want to go over to the non-negotiables. Recently, we have changed some things inside of our organization. We have came up with our non-negotiables inside of our organization. So I wanted to share our non-negotiables, what that looks like for our office, what does that mean to us, how that is going right now inside of our organization, because there's some tough conversations with some producers. And so that's what the topic is today. So hopefully you guys will have a good time listening to it and grab a couple things from this conversation and go throughout your day. So number one, insurance market, personalized, right? So we're very heavy personalized. We're about 85-15, 80-20, somewhere in there, personalized. So personalized to commercial ratio. And I know a lot of people have kind of transitioned over to commercial lines. Honestly, we have stuck to our guns. Personalized is all we do. We do a lot of it. And we just said, we're going to figure this out. And the agencies that figure this out around this time, in the toughest time of it all, are going to come ahead of this curve way faster than anybody else when this thing kind of turns around. So we truly believe that. If you think about it, like some of the companies that came from 2008, with what happened in the 2008 with the market, like think about all these companies that really kind of flourished during that time, or the idea came from that time. There's a lot of those companies now, 16 years later, they're just knocking it out of the park. Think about the top tech companies really kind of flourished in that time. So that's how I see right now as an opportunity for the strong agents and agencies to step up and figure out your systems and processes and automations and non-negotiables. Move into a new location if you have to. Put all your eggs into this basket because, man, this is one of the greatest industries in the world. I'm not saying not diversify, stay personalized. Diversify. We're diversifying. We're 80-20. We used to be 96, 97% personalized. So we're all doing it in some class. We just don't go chase commercial insurance. It comes to us because of our personal lines. We don't really go chase personal lines either, I guess, but we got a different model than a lot of people on the personal line side. So we were with auto owners, Nationwide, Safeco, and I was with Travelers as well in the last probably couple of months, honestly hanging out with the product team and the CEOs and the agency council that I'm involved in. And overwhelmingly, most carriers are telling you the same exact thing. Listen, we're trying to figure it out. We think we got it. We're not sure. We need some more time. It's really difficult to figure things out during hail season, I guess, if you're in a state where you have a lot of hail, you have a lot of weather, you have a lot of storms and stuff. a lot of carriers are really, dude, they're not going to open it up in August or in July or June, because those are the times where you get hit the most. Nebraska, we got hit with tornadoes. We've had 5 hail claims, 7 hail claims. We got wind stuff. We got flooding here all the time. Nebraska was the number 2 homeowners rate in the country now, behind Florida. Florida's at, I believe, 5,500. Bank rate came up with it, and Nebraska's at 5,200. So second highest homeowners rate. And we remember selling $1,400 policies like 3 years ago, right? So it's been crazy how the market has shifted. And but overwhelmingly, what I'm hearing from, for example, auto owners, is basically the message is pretty clear. Hey, like, we understand what we're going through, and they are made up for times like these, and they're, hey, write all the business you want, like, no big deal at all. We understand that this year we're going to lose money, and that's okay, because we've made money for the last 20 years, right? So a company like auto owners, which has made money on personal lines every year, they really are not puzzled by it. They're open, they're ready to write business, good business. Not, they want us to multi-line, they want us to be with the same carrier. They don't want us to do a lot of single line and stuff like that. And I encourage a lot of agents, honestly, just stay away from monoline. Like, seriously, like, you got to stay away from it, because even though auto owners is not doing anything right now, I would be shocked if they don't get to a point to where they just do, like, if it's a single line home only or auto only, the commission is way lower. That's what we're seeing from a lot of carriers right now, is a lot of carriers are saying, listen, like, you can write a home with us. We really don't like it. We'll pay you like whatever, 10%. You want to take it? Sure, go ahead. But they don't like it. They don't want it. Some of them won't even allow you to do it. Like Encompass, like, you can, if you're not multi-lining, there's no way you can write a business there. Right. And obviously Nationwide is not open at all. Safeco is pretty much shut down. Travelers is pretty much shut down, for us at least in Nebraska. So we got a lot of Allstate, a lot of auto owners, a lot of some Encompass, I guess, and then you got Progressive, that, and then Branch, and some of the smaller ones that we're writing some business with. So anyway, so that's what auto owners is saying. Hey, like, we're built for this. And then obviously Nationwide, I feel like they did a really bad job of coming in and capturing the market. Just opened it up in Nebraska like crazy, and now we're running into a lot of issues because they just didn't. Obviously, their actuaries didn't get it right, and they were like shut down trying to figure it out. And we just got heard news yesterday when we were hanging out with our Progressive rep that they shut down homeowners insurance in the state of Nebraska. You know, for all the agents as well, because they're saying the same thing. They're like, hey, we need 5 or 6 months, man, to figure this out. And I would say that, like, if a company like a Progressive, which they're a tech company, a lot of you guys know that, like, they're probably a tech company first and insurance second, because they have the analytics, they have the data, they pull everything when they're pulling auto, and they're saying, hey, we're going to shut it down for a little bit so we can figure out, is it 2% wind and hail? Is it 1%? Is it certain, a lot of carriers, actual cash value on a roof, whatever. They're trying to figure that out. So now Nationwide is shut down. Progressive is shut down. Pretty much Travelers and Safeco are kind of shut down. They're all trying to, like, figure out, what are we going to do? Do we all unite together and come up with like a 2% deductible in hail heavy states? Which, just do it. Like, if all of you guys do it, then that's fine. Like, let's kind of rock and roll, open it up. Let's kind of go from there. But so that's kind of what we're hearing. So Progressive just told us yesterday, and I'm one of those guys, man. And this is how the outlook should be for a lot of you guys. It's okay. Like, if that's honestly the worst thing I've heard this year, like, my life is great. Seriously. If Nationwide shutting down was the worst thing, and that was our number one carrier by a long shot, then it is what it is. Like, what are you going to do? Like, that's not the end of the world. We'll find, like, I feel like a lot of you guys should think of it as, hey, listen, okay, that's fine. Then what's next? Like, what are we going to do next? Like, okay, good. Allstate's writing business. Let's kind of focus more on that. Let's learn about that product. Auto owners is writing business. Let's focus on that. Just focus on the positivity. Think about all the good things that are happening, versus the bad things, right? Which carriers shutting down. And I remember at one time we were probably 75% Nationwide at one point when we left 5 years ago from State Farm. 2 years ago, we were legit 75% Nationwide agency because we just wrote a ton of it with Nationwide. And
I'd say the best thing that's ever happened to us when Nationwide shut down is now we've diversified ourselves, right? So if you're looking to sell at one point, if you're looking to maybe get some money to kind of jumpstart your agency, being diversified as far as a carrier goes is going to be very, very, very important for you, because you're able to kind of sustain some of these things when carriers are shut down. So I look at it as, listen, we were 75% nationwide. Now we're 30% nationwide, in the last year and a half, because they shut down and we're just writing business with the carriers that are open. So go find the opportunities, because at the end of the day, it's not like one other carrier is writing all the business, right? It's not like State Farm is completely open. And they're open, but like it's really difficult to place in business with them, just like it is difficult to place business with Travelers and Safeco and some of these other carriers that are open, but they really don't want to write any business because they really are not sure what they're doing. So, so I would recommend for people that are listening and that are wondering what's, maybe you don't have a lot of news from your carrier reps, or you don't, maybe you're a producer and you don't know, maybe your agency owner hasn't shared with you. Yeah, some carriers are being very difficult, we understand that, but there are a couple of carriers that are open. It's better than one option. I mean, think of it as, if this is the worst thing that can ever happen to you, if you're an independent channel, if this is the worst thing that can ever happen to you, to where you have two options, bro, you have two options. Like, think of the positivity in that. Like, you have two options to choose from, right? And also remember, there's your book of business that you have as a producer and as an agency owner. Well, where are they going to go? There's not a lot of places you could go. So you're also not losing a lot of clients that you're used to losing, because Farmers or American Family or State Farm or some of the other carriers are writing a ton of business and taking your book of business away. So this is the time to fine tune your systems, your processes, your automations, your non-negotiables inside of your agency. So when you get out of this thing, you're very strong. We've spent the last 6 months going through our playbook. What's our sales process from start to finish? We have 12 producers, I think. Hey, Zach, what's your sales process from start to finish? How do you answer the phone? How do you call these people? How many times do you call these people? Right? What's that conversation look like? What are the 7 questions that you should ask, which we came up with? These are the 7 questions that you must ask. Did you ask the 7 questions, right? And then Billy Wagner said, he was on my podcast, and I'm going to steal this from him. We're gonna get a shopper to basically go out and call our office and basically shop the process, and then give me some feedback on how that went. It's a test shopper that he uses that I'm going to put in within our organization to make sure, now that we have implemented the sales process exactly from step 1 to step 12, are the agents following the process? And the only way you can do that is to basically, obviously, secret shop them to make sure that they're following the process. And the people that are, then obviously compensate them for it, so they feel good about doing the right thing. And the people that are not should basically have a conversation with. So don't sit around right now, guys. I don't sit around, sitting around feeling bad about yourself because carriers are not open. Well, you own a business, right? And when you're a producer, maybe you own the book of business, maybe you don't, but it's your clients, right? So you gotta spend some more time with them, reach out to your book of business, obviously harden those relationships, and do the things that maybe you wouldn't be able to do if you were completely open and you were writing a ton of business as an agency owner, as a producer. Systems, processes, automations, non-negotiables, everything I talk about. This is the time to figure those things out, because honestly, for us, it's not slow. Honestly, we had one of our best weeks last week for new business. So like, the go-getters are going to go get it. The people that are going to feel bad about themselves, you're going to drive the whole agency down, if not the whole sales team. If you're feeling down and bringing negativity, like Progressive told us yesterday that, hey, we're going to shut down. And Progressive is one of our biggest carriers. I didn't share that with the team, and I didn't share that as, hey, Progressive is shutting down. I was like, hey guys, we're gonna keep rocking and rolling. And Progressive will give us an announcement. We'll figure that out. But yeah, what's next? Auto owners. Let's go to that. Let's go to Allstate. So like, find positivity in things. You can stem it as, hey, listen, Progressive needs about 5 months to figure out the process so they can write really good business and a ton of business next year once they got their rate figured out. So you don't want the carriers to lose money. You want them to make money, because that's the only way they can stay open and do the things that they need to do. But you have to understand, carriers like Safeco, Travelers, Nationwide, Progressive, auto owners, they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere, guys. they're too big. They're your blue bloods. I would be a little bit worried about like Hippo, some of those like monoline homes that came into the market, maybe even like a Branch, which is very automated technology, but I love Branch actually, openly a little bit as well. And obviously they have tightened up. There's a lot of these carriers that I would be a little bit more worried about than any of my blue blood carriers, man, because they'll figure it out. They got plenty of money in reserves. They know what to do to figure out the rate, and they will. And at the end of the day, it's your job as a producer and our job in our organization to educate the clients. This is what we could do today, man. We got to educate the consumers about what's happening in the insurance world. If we sit down and not do anything and get the message across to the country, to the people that are buying insurance, we will never figure this out. And you're always going to be freaking out. But the more we educate clients about putting in the right claims and not doing this or that, and letting them know how crazy the insurance market is for homeowners insurance in the state of Nebraska, the more we can educate our clients, the more they will understand, the better they will get about paying $5, $6, $7,000 in deductibles, higher deductibles, and things like that to mitigate the loss, to be able to have the carriers make money, which then can open it up. So it's our obligation right now, guys. We got to step up. We got to educate the consumers, and then keep writing business, because man, that's how we make money, right? And this industry is not going anywhere. Homeowners insurance is not going anywhere. And there's not one person in the state of Nebraska will be able to sleep well not having insurance. So your job is like, guys, like when COVID happened, we were all freaking out. Like we did amazing. Everybody did amazing. Everybody came out of that strong. This is another kind of hurdle that we're dealing with, that we're going to come out of it. So I hope that kind of gives you a little perspective on what's going on. I get it. It's tough, but tough times make tough people. Be that tough person. Don't be the person that says, you know what, I'm going to be down about this, because I understand it's tough. I get it, dude. Every day I deal with this, our organization, every day something comes up, this carrier shut down, that carrier shut down, blah, blah, blah. When you focus on the negativity piles up. And it makes it really, really, really tough to wake up every day, put your pants on, and go to work. And I say this all the time. The day comes where I'm not excited about putting my pants on and going to work, man, I ain't doing it. And you can't do that, unfortunately, when you're a captive agent, because you kind of have to keep showing up. But at least on the independent channel, what you could do is you could sell, you could do whatever you want. But if you don't like what you're doing, man, get the hell out. Go do something that you truly enjoy, because life is short. So I want to really quick go over to my non-negotiables, and I'm curious for your feedback, man. If you've got some feedback, please feel free to. I've had so many people reach out to me, for advice, for mentorship, or I reach out to people all the time. If you're interested in dive in a little bit deeper or have any questions, feel free to email me at cyrus@teamcyrus.com. I'm glad to have a conversation with you about the industry, how things are going, and kind of rock and roll, man. I talk to agents every day. I mean, every day, that's kind of what I love to do. So, so one of the things we did is we came up with our non-negotiables in this tough time for the last 6 months. So our leadership team kind of got together. We said, guys, what are like 2 or 3 things as an organization that like there's just like no way if or but about it? Like these are the 3 things that like is what defines us. It's like you on a daily basis you're doing. And we came up with 3. So our 3 non-negotiables at our agencies is, all of them is 25 CTEs. So that's calls, text, emails. Like, so as a salesperson inside of our organization, you are required to talk to 25 people. That's 25 texts, emails, calls, whatever you do. Like 25 CTEs is a non-negotiable for us, because I have the data for the last 5 years. We're a data-driven company. We understand that, hey, it's not rocket science, man. Like, if you talk to anybody that have built an agency or built a business or a producer that's rock star, they would tell you, man, I just talk to this many people every day. I mean, it's common sense, right? It's sales. The more people you call, the more people you talk to, the more people you quote, the more premium you close, the more commission you make, and the bigger your agency gets. I mean, that's just, it's not rocket science. So if you get, so ours is, by no means is 150, anything like that, but it's 25 CTEs, call, text, emails. We understand that people do business different way. We're not going to put a requirement on which one it is. So 25 CTEs. Our second is don't cheat the system. One of the most important one in our organization. And then the last one is be kind. We want to build a culture where people feel welcome. People feel like they, are kind to each other. They're doing the things that they're supposed to do. And that's a non-negotiable for me in our organization. So the 25 CTEs, don't cheat the system and be kind, are our 3 non-negotiables that if you're not going to do anything else in our organization, those are the 3 things you have to do on a daily basis, or you honestly can't be a part of our culture. It's just not possible. And there's a lot of meaning behind those 3. But I want to go through each of them really quick with you of why we chose 25 CTs and then how we do it, right? Because when you're creating non-negotiables, when you're creating systems and processes, you got to find a way to tell them how to do it as well, when to do it, how to do it, because a lot of people come up with these things, say go do it, but like maybe some people just don't know how or when, or give them examples, show them, spend some time with them, spend a day, whatever it takes, because if you don't show them, they're not going to do it. So for us, it was the 25 CTEs. We looked at data for the last so many years, and we needed to do 15 was pretty average for us. And obviously, with it being a little bit tougher time right now, we just said, hey, let's add an extra 10. Let's add an extra 10 more people that they talk to. Out of those 10 of those people, they're going to for sure talk to 5. We're a very hot lead organization because a lot of our stuff comes from mortgage lenders, real estate agents, all that stuff. So you got to talk to 10 more people, because we understand that, you're going to talk to 5 of those people. Out of those 5, 3 or 4 of them are going to let you quote them. Now, a lot more people are letting you quote them because everybody's rates have gone up like crazy, and you're going to close 2 deals, 1 or 2 deals within the next 30 days is what we have seen. So why not talk to an extra 10 people when our average premium is about $5,000 per household? You're going to make an extra $500 in premium and $1,500 in commission, or whatever that math makes sense on it. So we just saw the statistics. We just said, listen, when times get harder, you just have to do some more things to be able to create what you were creating before. So we came up with the 25 CTEs instead of 15 CTEs, which was our non-negotiables before. We didn't really have like a per se non-negotiable, but that was kind of not written. So your non-negotiables, I would recommend, it's got to be written, it's got to be everywhere, and you must do it. And when somebody doesn't do it, you must have a talk. There's gotta be consequences for them not doing it, because trust me, man, producers, agency owners, people that come in, they're going to try to take advantage of it and not do certain things to see how much of the button they can push or get away with. So if you let us slide once, it becomes cancer. So please, 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 I would recommend, if you're going to come up with a non-negotiable sales process, you must follow it. There's no ifs or buts about it. And if you don't, there's consequence. So how do we do it? Right. So everybody's like freaking out. My whole team was freaking out. Guys, like, that's a lot. How are we going to do it? Are we going to have time? We have underwriting. We heard this from all the producers almost. We have underwriting stuff we have to do. You already have extra $5,000 in premium that we must write now. And we have all these other things we got to do. We got to quotes taking longer. Carriers are not on the radar. Think of it, any excuse you could possibly think of, And I say, guys, I'm sorry, but that's a non-negotiable. Like, I appreciate you telling me the problems that you're having, and I would take them into consideration. But I'm going to put a deadline, and I'm going to do it for 2 months. There's no ifs or buts. There's nothing you could do today to change my mind. So I would probably not even try, to be honest with you. Roll with it. Go do it for 2 months. I know it's hard. If you think it's hard, do it for a couple months. And if for some reason at that time we look at the statistics, we look at your data and everybody else's data, and if it doesn't plan out, then we will go back to it. But for now, so anytime you put up a non-negotiable, there's got to be an accountability feature and a deadline. It makes it so much easier. When you have an accountability, you have 12 other people doing it. And then every morning and every afternoon, because we have a 9 o'clock and a 1 o'clock, we go over it. So you're accountable for the things that you need to do. And then we have a deadline. Hey, for 2 months, just do it. Right. So at least the sales people are like, let's just do it for 2 months because my boss is telling me. Some people just think that way. That's okay. Right. Because we're building habits. We're building calluses inside of their mind so them to understand that, hey, like, I can do this daily, if that makes sense. Right. But if we put a little bit of a deadline, it makes them feel better versus, hey, this is a forever thing. And forever thing is scary for some people. So how do we do it? Every morning, I told you guys, we have a 9 a.m. meeting. Everybody from our organization, we have people all over the country, Minnesota, Wyoming, Arizona, Iowa. We have people all over El Salvador. We have a lot of people that are from different places. So we have a 9 a.m. meeting, a Zoom. Everybody hops on, 10, 15 minutes. We quickly conversate. That's accountability. And then we have a 1 o'clock as well. And right after the 9:15, everybody goes into their rooms or their offices or their houses, wherever they're working from, and we have a 1 hour blitz. Like that 1 hour, you're not doing anything else but knocking out the CTEs. And if you're at the office here, everybody's in their rooms. You have all this energy. Everybody's calling. You can hear it. It's a part of our culture almost now. That's what we do. And then at 1:15, 1 o'clock again, we have a meeting. And then 1:15, same thing, quick blitz. So really, all you're doing is after those calls, everybody's going to their rooms and making an extra 5 calls. It gets you to 10, which was more 15 we were before. Now we're at 10, 5 and 5. So honestly, it's an extra 5 calls or 5 texts or 5 emails or whatever that you're doing. So it's not a lot, but people just think it is too much. We just got to get it done. So the blitz became a part of our culture where everybody goes in, lots of energy, like I said, and I get involved into that as well with the team, and it's been a lot of fun. And so number 2 is don't cheat the system. I feel like, and if they do, man, you got to give them, as a producer, as an agency owner. So as an agency owner, man, if somebody cheats the system, there's got to be some consequence to it. Like you got to write them up. You got to fire them, whatever. Like it'll be the best thing that's ever had. You do not. I mean, some of your best players are going to try to cheat the system, to be honest with you. Don't let it happen. But be very clear with them, and say, guys, listen, this is a non-negotiable for us. Like you're not going to be a part of this organization. I mean, it's just, there is no ifs or buts about it. If you cheat the system, if you don't call, if you call the same person 5 times that day, which we've had in the past, people do it all the time. We've seen them all, man. We've seen it all in my 11 years. Just not going to be a part of this, man, because at the end of the day, if you're not going to want to grow, and if you're not going to want to do the things we're telling you because we know it's in the best interest of you, you probably shouldn't be a part of our organization. You should go somewhere else, man. I'll find you somewhere else. If you don't have a growth mindset, I don't want you a part of my organization. I just don't have time for you, man. I just don't have time for people that don't want to grow. Because life's too short, man. You got to grow on a daily basis, and there's just some calluses we're building for you to prepare you for the next time when you deal with adversity. So don't cheat the system is a non-negotiable. You guys understand what that means, whether they're not following the sales process that we're doing, whether it's not calling enough people, or basically getting around it by some shape or form, or at the end of the day, not treating people right around as well is one that's next for us. But all those things comes into our non-negotiables. And then number 3 is be kind. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I think in our organization, we've had some people in the past that maybe weren't kind, or maybe we didn't just set the expectation correct from the start, saying, hey guys, like there's got to be some kind of an accountability, some kind of friendship. I don't need you to be best friends, but at the same time, we got to be a close knit group, because close knit groups closes deals a lot faster and stronger, and you do a lot of cooler things when you got a lot of people on the same page versus everybody being on different pages. And we've had that in our organization in the past. Obviously, those people are not with us, and a lot of them are doing great things. They're just maybe not fitting in our box per se, which is okay, which is completely okay. But some people are not. And so if you can't be kind, if you can't be responsible, if you can't be saying the words we want you to say, then man, that's just not room for you. There's just not room for you, because it's one of those things where people talk about it all the time. You have one person that's saying some things that are not the right way, that are not kind, that are mean, that are just stupid, honestly. And then a couple of other people hear it, and maybe they're like, maybe we can say that as well. And then after a while, man, 3, 4, 5 people are doing it. So you got to nip it in the butt right away. You got to set the expectations. There's a way. We say it all the time when we hire people. We say, listen, here's what I mean by don't be kind. Give me a water. Hey, Juan, could you please give me a water? Right? Like it's just like we talk to our kids, like you just got to be kind. You got to, like, there's a way to do things, and there's a way to ask for the same thing. And we almost have to be elementary a lot of times. We have a lot of younger guys, 20 to 25 years old, 30 years old. Maybe it's a lot of them just are their first jobs or whatever, right? So they just got to know, man, this is a professional environment. We expect professionalism. We expect kindness. Because that will go a long ways. I always say it as, if you have kids, how do you talk to your daughter? If you have a daughter, for example, how you talk to your daughter is how you should talk to other people, because and how you talk to your significant other and your mom is how you should talk to everybody. So that's a key moment for us, and a key component of our organization is being kind. So 25 CTEs, don't cheat the system. and be kind are 3 non-negotiables. So thanks for hanging on with me, man. I want to make sure this stays under 29, 30 minutes. But those are some things I'm seeing in the market right now. I will be coming back myself again, and we will by myself, like I said, so a solo episode again, but we'll probably have some people for the next 3 to 4, and we'll keep this rock and rolling. Appreciate you guys. And man, hey, go do something, man. Go do something. I always ask a question with everybody that comes on board into our podcast. I asked them, what's one thing that you do on a daily basis that makes your day one? Like, consider the day one. I'm a daily guy, and for me to answer that question, if it was just one thing throughout the day, it's waking up early. Waking up early to have a little bit of time for yourself. I work out every morning, F3 workout, with a bunch of guys outside. Doesn't matter if it's 5 degrees or 100 degrees. We work out. That's a good way for me to get the ball rolling. Waking up at 5:30, 5 o'clock. 5:30 is when the workout starts, I guess. Sometimes 4:15 workouts. All those, like, those are things that I love to do, and that's what I would say if it was one thing. That's probably what I would pick. So, hope you guys have a good day, man. Hey, go make it happen and make some money.